what's up, my chatter boxes? If you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tell a friend. Welcome to my new subscribers. I really, really appreciate the love. I really do. So I'm going to just get into this review. This review is for Greenleaf Season 5, Episode 4, The Fourth Day. So we just going to get right into it. So it starts off where we left off, where Grace, Noah, Sophia, and AJ, they all at the hospital. AJ, gave them the blow, gave them the news as to what happened to him, when he was, in prison. So now he's free to be released. The doctors really don't want him to go straight home. They want him to go to like an inpatient treatment facility, to work out his kinks. And he have a real strong, I'm not gonna say hatred, but him being in a family setting isn't always the best move for him. He has a lot of anxiety when it comes to that. So they want him to kind of work out his problems before he go home, so he don't get triggered and to another attempted suicide. So they were going back and forth with they, meaning Grace and the doctor. She was like, well, ultimately it's AJ's decision, so whatever he decides. So when AJ come back in the room, he was like, Dad, I just got poked and pried with all these needles. I feel like a voodoo doll. But then when I walk in here, what I walk into? So basically they let him know what the plan was and that he was free to go. But the other option of it is to go to inpatient. So he decided that he wanted to go with Noah. And you could tell Grace, she was not happy with his decision, but she had to hold it in because whatever best for her son at this particular moment. But they all was kind of shocked, like, him and Noah don't have that bond that he started forming with Grace. But I guess at this particular point, he look at them all like they strangers any goddamn way. So moving past that, we have Bishop and Jacob. They're going back and forth. Bishop saying that basically Jacob put a target on his back. Bishop did not know about the other will, and now that he went to Macy's sister, now she knows that it's something going on, so people are going to start digging for information. So they Jacob's going to talk to his lawyer, I guess, and see if the will that they have and the will that he found, which one supersides the other. So we don't know at this particular point. Listen, when I tell y'all Lady Mae always had these one-liners, she had these one-liners because, she basically came at Jacob's neck. And she was like, I don't put a hand, what she say? I don't pet the head of a dog who eats the food off my plate. I'm like, damn. Whoa, she Lady Mae, she got some shit for these. Whoever write her lines, they good with that. So basically, he's going to figure out, like I said, he's going to figure out where to go from there with the will. And I don't know, do it look? It actually kind of, if y'all really look at it, it kind of gives Bishop motive, even though he's denying it. It gives him motive to have killed, Macy and them father. Because, if it was another will, he pop up dead. I mean, 1 and 1 kind of equals 2, but I'm pretty sure there's more to it that we don't know. But, hey, it do look kind of, suspect. So, they were asking about Clarissa. She can't stand Clarissa, Lady Mae. She can't stand Clarissa. And she was saying she do, helping out with this black, charity and stuff like that. But when she's in here, she can't even stand us. And she living rent-free and this. Listen, Clarissa do got some nerve. She can't stand them. She give them her ass to kiss, but she in their house living rent-free. Like, come on, Clarissa. Come on. Like, where they do that at? This ain't nothing but TV. Because in real life, you would have already been tossed on your goddamn ass. You and them goddamn kids, for real. You would have been out. So moving on from that, now we had Harmony and Hope. We had Phil, Judy, and Charity. They're going back and forth because Judy wants things a certain way. Charity, you know, she's big on the music. So she's like, a lot of people come there for the music. She wants the music to be right. But Judy, they're clashing. So Judy trying to, you know, pull rank. And I don't know, they were having like a exchange of words. And Charity said to her, well, you know, you can't run this place without a Greenleaf. You need me. And Judy was like, well, I only need you for now. She was like, so she was like, the Greenleaf name attached to it. Your dad tried shot a man. Your uncle was touching little girls. And so she was like, so Judy said to Charity, you're just needed for the time being. You just a necessary evil. And Charity was saying to Judy, well, you just a rusty antique nail. Some shit she said. I'm like, oh my God. They going and Phil going back and forth. So he sided with Judy and said that he's going to go with Judy's selection, how she want the music and I guess the video playing, you know, simultaneously, I guess, with the music. I really didn't catch what the beef was about. I mean, I know it was over the music, but I really don't recall every little thing, you know, the exchange with that. So as they were going back and forth, Grace overheard what was going on. And she's seen how, you know, they both kind of see. It's not like they gang up on Charity. Judy say what she say, and Phil backs up. He don't side with Charity. He don't have Charity back, and that's because he's a yes man. He's trying, you know, he's up underneath her dad's ass, and he's trying to, you know, get to where he want to be. And proof is in the pudding. He marrying Judy, don't even like Judy. So, you know, he's a fucking yes man. That's all it is with him. So, Judy and, not Judy. So Grace said to Charity, or Charity said to Grace, did you see that? She was like, yeah. She was like, come here. So basically, Darius and Grace is trying to put the pieces together with this E and Will Linden. And apparently Phil's mother used to work for them around about like 20 years ago. And they was trying to find his dad. So they're trying to pull Charity in because she can help, you know, put the missing pieces together. So Charity gave her some information. First, she was a little hesitant about it, but she gave her some information. She was like, the reason why you can't find, you know, him under Marcus Damaris is because he changed his name when he was in the Black Panthers. Now he go by the name Yusuf. So he's down like in the New Orleans, and he like in the jazz sector. So Grace was able to find him, so she reached out to him, but she didn't really get too far with the conversation because he was like, you got 3 strikes. Because the first strike was her being the pastor, the second strike she was talking about his ex-wife, and the third strike was her to bringing his son up. So he wasn't really trying to hear all that. So before Charity gave up the goods, she was a little hesitant because she liked him and everything like that. So Grace was like, I watched how they treated you. She was like, and I'm going to ask you a question. She was like, do you respect Phil? And then Charity was about to say something. She was like, no. And I know you love him. Do you respect him? She was like, because the way he be walking around here, you know, kissing Bob Whitfield ass and, you know, doing all these things, you know, how he, you know, parading around here with Judy and things like that. She was like, do you respect him? She was like, and Charity had to think about that shit. No, you losing respect. You losing respect around there. She was like, "Well, they made me assistant pastor." Yeah, but you don't have no control in there, Charity. They might have made you assistant pastor and everything. You don't have no control over there. You aren't. They not valuing what you bring to the table. So you might as well. You rolled on your own family and you see what happened. You're not ahead, so you might as well, you know, get with the program and take their asses out. So they don't really know, because she didn't know that Bob Whitmore got Darius fired. He, you know, I think he got some kind of campaign going on. Like, she didn't know all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little interesting how low and dirty things are going to get. But I'm glad that Charity finally waking up and see that, you know, I got to, you know, ride with the people that I know is going to have my back and, you know, come hell or high water. And that's your family, because you already see Phil, he a yes man, okay? He's shucking and jiving just to get where he wanna go. And I don't understand why he so headstrong on following underneath Bob Whitmore when he the one who write all the sermons. He basically is the Bob Whitmore without him actually being Bob Whitmore. Like the whole persona that Bob Whitmore give off, that's who the Phil is. He writes everything. He's the man behind the clown. You know what I'm saying? And he's making himself a clown because he doing clown act shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sick of him. I'm sick of him. So, now we goes back to the house. So it's Lady Mae, the bishop, and the lawyer. Now, like I told you, y'all know I didn't watch all the last season, but I think it was the season before that. This young man, I think, was the guy that I think Lady Mae might have thought he may have been like a part of the family or something like that. So anyway, he was going over the will with them, and basically he said that their will is what's going to stand, but in the public opinion, what I always said, it's going to look crazy. It is. And they don't, like Lady Mae said, listen, I already lost my house, my church. I don't want to lose my house. Like, y'all gonna have to get ahead of this, whatever y'all gotta do. So, Pastor was like, Pastor said, well, I'm gonna have to, talk my way out of this. He was like, if I could talk Macy, out of shooting me with a loaded gun, I'm pretty sure I can, change people's perception of what's going on. Because it's a crazy situation. Like I said, he may have not killed him, but like they said, the way it looked, the perception isn't the best. So Lady Mae, she went there to talk to Clarissa, and you remember when I was just saying how if I would have kicked Clarissa ass, I was trying to, blackmail my son to get some little money. So that's where she marched up to the room and said, is my grandson there? She was like, no. She was like, because this conversation ain't for little ears. So Clarissa was like, well, what's up, man? Because I'm busy. I'm waiting on the lawyer to come. And she was like, I want you out. So Lady Mae didn't know everything that her son was putting down. So when Clarissa told her the tea, she was like, I don't want a divorce. She was like, well, why are y'all getting a divorce if you don't want a divorce? She said, it's all your son's fault. She was like, well, she said, well, it's between me and Jacob. She was, at this particular point, it's no longer between you and Jacob, because now you trying to blackmail, us, and, sue for money that don't even belong to Jacob. It's our family money. Like, come on now, you better tell me something. So Clarissa ended up telling her how she had an affair, and she was like, and after all his indiscretions with Alexa, Tasha, and I think the name was Melise, she was like, so Lady Mae, Melise, you mean the one that was working for us before Marisol? She was like, oh my goodness. So, you know how them old ladies be when they be getting the tea. That's how she was. So it kind of shifted the way she was thinking about, Clarissa. So Clarissa basically said, if you can get him to drop the divorce, then I'll drop everything that I'm, got in play now. She was like, but if he gonna meet me with fire, I'm gonna meet his ass with fire too. Basically, like, I'm gonna meet you with the same aggression you meet me. Like, come on, you gotta fold, you gotta bend something. And that's the problem with these men. These men can cheat on you 1,000 times, and women, they accept them back and forgive them and try to work it out. But soon when a woman do that to a man, it's like you committed murder or something towards them. Like, damn, you ain't just you. It's not like you just didn't screw the whole city. Now I screw one person, and then you about to have my head. Come on now, y'all gotta stop with this double standard stuff. Or you know what, we as women need to stop taking men back. Maybe that's what had to happen. Because once they know that we ain't playing, maybe they'll stop playing with us. Yeah, you get me? You feel me? So Lady Mae went to go confront Jacob about all this nonsense. So she starts, throwing out Bible verses. And he didn't know where she was going with it at. Because I think the first one it said, basically, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with all these Bible verses, but she's something about like you can't hold anything against people on earth because it won't sit right with your Lord. Something to that effect. Please forgive me, but I know she said it. He said it was Mark 11:25. That's what the verse was. So if you guys are familiar with that verse, then you know what I'm talking about. And forgive me, that I didn't. Forgive me that I wasn't able to recite it like how it was said. And then she also threw another one out there. He without sin shouldn't cast the last stone. So he was like, "You talked to Clarissa, didn't you?" She was like, you did it. You went that way with Melise. You did that with Melise. He was like, "Well, that was only that one time." Jacob, you saying it was only that one time, but you had multiple affairs. Like, come on, stop trying to downplay and minimize what you put this woman through. Please, please. She hurt your male ego because she cheated with one person. What about her female ego? Yeah, come on. So, Lady Mae wasn't having it because she had her indiscretions in the past too, but the kids don't know anything about it. So she said, "I'd rather be, this problem be at the foot of your wife, but it's not." She was like, "And what I want you to do is fear, had to fear God and forgive that woman." She said, so he said, no, she basically, she said, "And if you think of her like that, what you think of me?" Because he was like, "You don't know what she did." She was like, "I know what she did." The one indiscretion. So she was like, "If you think that way of her, then what would you think of me?" And he was like, "Well, Mom, you would never done that more. You would never have done that." She was like, "How do you know?" Because she already did it, but that's not for him. That's not for his ears. Just do what you do. Like she told him to go make right with your wife. Go make right with your wife, forgive her, and move the hell on. And that's what he better do. That's what he better do. Okay? They causing all this goddamn drama for nothing. All this drama for nothing. Because your male ego was hurt. Boy, move on. So now we have Charity. She's in the church. She's walked up on Connie, and she asked Connie if she can have her back on. She wanted to do the presentation on the history of Calvary. And she was like, "Well, why didn't you go to Judy and Phil with this?" She was like, "I did, but they turned me down." She was like, "And I'm turning you down too." I think that's the worst idea ever. Like, I don't think it's so bad, but I guess, I don't know. I guess, it's a lot of stains on the church, but I mean, that would be a good way. I mean, they closing the church, they tearing it down. I mean, what would be, that would be a good passage into a new direction, but who knows? It's a lot of drama in that church. So Bishop, he goes to meet up with Macy's sister. So it's like in the slums, the slums. It's horrible. Like, you see prostitutes and everything. So they looking them up and down. So it's called New Revelation Memphis. I think it was like a center or something. So when he came, he seen Sister James there, and she was like, "This the second day in a row as a Greenleaf came here." She was like, "What do I owe this honor to?" She was like, "I feel like I'm special." So he said he was, that's there to, set the record straight. So in that meeting that they end up sitting there, talking about things, he told her that Mac is the one who made that phone call. He arranged it all. So she was like, "Well, why would why would Mac want to do it?" So apparently he did tell her about the will, and he said that before, her father died, the house was left to him. But when he passed, she redrafted the will and left it to him, and Mac, he amended it. So she said it wasn't really sitting, all that well with her. And he was like, you walking, I see what you're doing here, and you walking in the light of a Christian. And she said, but even though I, walk this walk, she was like, it still doesn't stop the fact that I'm angry, watching my dad, thinking about my dad burning in that hell with no way out and just nothing but hurt. And he was like, he understand it. He would just hope they'd be able to get past it. But I'm trying to figure out, why would Mac go to those levels as to killing, their father, just so the bishop and his sister could get the house. It has to be more to that, because he didn't have the house, so why would he want to do that? That doesn't make sense. Hopefully it'll all come out, because I'm trying to see what the game for him would have been. It really doesn't make sense at all. So now we at so moving forward from that, we have Charity. She's at the church, and Judy come walking her little ass, and she gets on my goddamn nerves. She gets on my nerves. So Judy was like, Charity, did you ask Connie, can you do the presentation? She was like, yeah. And she said no. She said, but if she hadn't said no, you would have did it, right? So she told her, you're fired. She was like, you can't fire me. She said, I absolutely can fire you. I'm soon to be first lady of this church, and I'm Bob Whitmore's daughter. The only person that got more authority over this church is God. And Judy had like this eerie smile about her. It was just like a devilish smile, and she took so much pleasure in giving Charity the boot. I don't understand why Charity even want to be there. I understand, that's your family legacy, and you want to see it through. They made you associate pastor. Girl, get that shit up. Your parents trying to start something over there. Y'all got the Greenleaf name. If you so confident in the Greenleaf name, and it can, gain y'all, followers and parishioners, just go there with your family. Because these people right here, they're cutthroat. And I would just leave them where they at. So I had got a little ahead of myself. I forgot to tell you guys about the scene when AJ came to the house to, pick up some things. He was with Noah, and, Grace met him at the door. So as Noah was picking up his, going up the steps, he overheard Grace telling Noah that he wants her to make sure he see the doctor. She gave him a card. And he was like, see, this is the reason. So AJ was like, this is the reason why I can't stay here. He was like, you always trying to force something. And I get it. Grace want the best for him. She want him healthy, because like she said, he needs to see a doctor. But you got to give him time. You got to give him time, Grace. You got to give him time. And that's all you do. Because he's trying to compartmentalize what happened to him, and, deal with the fact that all you guys know. And now you trying to, like, put too much on him. That's why he didn't want to stay with Grace, because he knew Grace was going to pick it. So Lady Mae comes down. And you know how she light up when she see Noah. Hey, I didn't know you in here. You want to join me for tea? So Noah go, off joining her for tea. And Noah said, I got this. He my son too. I got this. So he reassured Grace that he'll do what he's supposed to do for his dad. And I'm gonna just go fast forward to the last scene in them. So Grace, AJ was in the room with the girls. They were trying to block him from getting out, a little playfulness. He has the most fun when he's with his sister and his cousin. Like, they accept him for who he is. They truly embrace him. It's no baggage when it comes to those relationships. And, he really enjoys them, because he told them, thank you. You know what I mean? And as he was saying that, Grace came in. So she asked, can she be left alone with them? She was talking to him, but she's trying to talk to him with kid gloves, try to ease her way into that, but she still got to ask the important questions or say the important things. So she basically said, I know you need to see the doctor. He was like, I know. And he was like, something, I think he said, that's why I can't stay here with you. So Grace, she I don't know. I feel bad for her as a mom. I feel bad for her. So he ended up giving Grace a kiss. And that face that she was giving, I'll tell you, Grace a good ass actor, because those faces, I'm like, Grace, what are you doing, honey? So she ended up crying. AJ had left out when he gave her a kiss, the kiss on the head. And I guess that was for her like a moment of, maybe, we are on the right track. So I get it. Okay, so Judy like I told y'all, Judy had fire Charity. So Charity go in there with Phil, and she basically cursed Phil ass out, because Phil was back in chair. I mean, Judy. He was like, we can't have, you going against everything that we set in place, as far as like orders and stuff like that. He was like, we can't run the church like that. So she basically told him, you a waste of a man. What you think? She said, you a waste of a man. She was like, what you think this Oreo of a church y'all gonna be able to sustain? I'm like, oh my God. She was like, you might as well keep, laying on them small titties, because you won't never be able to lay on these like you was a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh, and she was like, y'all ain't gotta fire me. I quit. And he ain't had no rebuttal for her. He was looking like a dead court in the headlights, because when I tell you, she read him from A to goddamn on Z. Yeah, she was like, you're passive. She said something about a sponge. I can't really remember what she said about that. So she was like, and I called my lawyer. I had me too, y'all asses. Listen, ain't nothing like a woman scorned, okay? She gonna have her vengeance against him. Trust and believe that. And he better watch out. And Judy, you too. So Charity, I guess she done with them. She done with them. And I don't blame her. So then you see you see Grace. She's walking on the grounds, of the property, and Bishop walks up, and they had like a heart-to-heart, and he didn't really know what was going on, and he was saying, you feel bad of, how things went with your sons, like you broke and you be able to put the situation, back together again. And he was like, you can't be the only one to try to save him. He has his father, in his life as well. And he always, to me, Bishop is real good with his girls. He always can come to the common ground with them. He always knows the right thing to say, and he always brings them comfort. So I kind of like those scenes that I see him interact with his girls. I really do. Even with Charity, as messy as Charity can be, as much fucked up shit Charity has done, he still find a way of, still able to have them genuine moments with his daughter. I kind of respect that. So then we see Jacob. He goes to talk to Clarissa. So Clarissa knew that Lady Mae was going to try to get him to come and, patch things up with her. But he just couldn't say the words out his mouth, because he's not feeling it in his heart. So she was like, Jacob, is this something that you want to say? So then basically she said, well, I'll say it for you. I'm sorry that, you had to defile yourself because of all the many indiscretions that I may have had. I'm sorry that, I ruined this marriage. I'll forgive you. And he couldn't forgive her. And she was like, she'll lay off the will, because she Lady Mae knows the truth now. And I guess she'll make sure, that Clarissa, get her fair shake. But she was like, it's over. He was like, I know. Like, he's done with her. Like, I don't know if I have men that listen to my reviews or not. But if I do, please, I would really want you guys to comment in my comment section below and tell me, like, why is it so hard for you guys to forgive a woman and her indiscretions, but will expect her to forgive you time and time again? What is the double standard? I'm curious, and I'm curious in the male point of view, from the male point of view. I want to know. So now we have Judy and Phil. They're at their apartment, their condo, whatever it is, and they were discussing like the Charity, situation, and he was kind of like in deep thought about what Charity said. And so Judy was like, well, what did she say? So he was saying something about this church won't be here at the Sunday, or Sunday through Tuesday, something to that effect. So Judy was like, oh, don't let her get into your head. He was like, no, he was like, I can't put my finger on it, but it's not what she said, it was how she said it. It's like something is coming. And he's very correct in feeling the way that he feels, and he's right, because they about to nail you and Judy and Bob to the goddamn cross, and I can't wait to see it happen. So Judy, she was trying to give him a blowjob, and he wasn't going for it. He kept pushing her off, pushing her off, and she was like, why? Why is it? Why can't we get back to how we used to be? Is it because I'm still married to, I forgot her ex-husband, well, her soon-to-be ex-husband name. She was like, because you have to know, I will never go back to him. I'll never go back to him. And then she must have thought that she convinced him and letting her give him the blowjob. And then so she tried to go back to his buckles, and he pushed her off again. So she just stormed off and went upstairs. He's not attracted to you, Judy, and you know that. And you trying to force a blowjob on him, girl, please. I wish he would have let you put it in your mouth so you could have choked on it. Oh, she disgusts me on here. She gets on my goddamn nerves. She really, really do. I mean, I don't know. So, I'm sorry. So now we have Lady Mae and her son Jacob. They're talking, and he basically told Lady Mae that he couldn't go through with forgiving, Clarissa. And he was like, he said he didn't want to go back into that place. It wasn't about forgiving her for what she did. He just didn't want to go back into the place of, I guess, how they were. So I guess he's content with letting the relationship go. So basically, Lady Mae had said, whatever, you still your son's father, so whatever goes on between you and Clarissa, you always be his father. And I like the way Lady Mae really be talking to her children as well as Bishop, because sometimes we as parents, we like to take the side of our child and don't really give them the hard truth, but you gotta give them both sides. And if you don't give them both sides, I mean, how is that helping them? How is it helping them? It's not. It ain't helping them at all. So Charity comes in there. So now they all at the downstairs. Everybody's coming in. Charity she comes in and she's all chipper because they was talking about how they're gonna do the church service at their house, and Charity was like, well, I'm available. So everybody was like, well, what's going on? How you available? She was like, I quit. So she ain't telling them they fire her ass. I guess you quit after you was already fired. So they was asking, I guess they didn't want to invite Corinne. So she was like, let her come. So she basically was saying, well, I don't know. I guess, because he said, how did he, meaning Bishop, asked her how did Phil what did he think about it. He was like, she said, I don't know. I guess he too entangled with his cream puff. So they about to get it started now. All the players is in place for the church that they trying to start to kind of be a contender with hope. Now, especially whatever Grace got up her sleeve with trying to, dig into that company. So we shall see. But Charity, I can't believe, well, you had to save face. So they all at the dinner table, and Bishop, about to, say his little prayer, and the phone rings. So it was Tara. So she basically told him, once he got off the phone, they was all inquisitive about what was going on. So she basically told him that she thought about it and she had some more questions about the house. Tara is about to call. She's about to shake some shit up. She probably going to blackmail her for the house. Clarissa wanted to know what was going on prior to Bishop revealing what the conversation and everything is, and Lady Mae was like, you're the reason why we going through all this in the first place. So it's about to be a goddamn shit show. I mean, it's already a shit show, but let the games begin. Let them begin. I must say Greenleaf has not disappointed. It's only the 4th episode and it's already juicy. It's already, keeping my interest, and I'm just here for it all. I hope you guys like the review. I am interested in reviewing P Valley. If you guys want me to do that review, let me know in the comment section below. It's on Starz Network. The first episode aired, I think, the day before yesterday. So I will add that to my my videos if you guys say, yay or nay. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys like the content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to holler at your girl. Bye!